Welcome, friends, passengers of our beloved, contaminated, and only vessel, which since last time we saw each other on these media, it has rotated once again, and we love to show you everything that we've prepared for you, and we're glad to know that you're still watching us. The international topic is today marked by, for what for us is something fundamental, which are the U.S. elections. South Carolina is still uncertain. We see that Joe Biden is growing, but let's not forget that that the United States does not have a direct election, but what they do is it's by states, and they have a bit more complex system. I had to cover some elections back in the United States, and of course it works, but it's more difficult than ours. Mr. Director, let's see ongoing developments. This takes us...
Take back our country. This is the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hush not, child, and don't cry.
Biden. This is Joe Biden. This is when the Democratic race is happening.
El presidente republicano Donald Trump se amplía rápidamente con las primarias del supermartes, 14 estados, oigan bien. Las primarias del supermartes son 14
Super Tuesday are for 14 states, and this will be very determining. And Biden is walking, shaking hands, waving hands. Here we have James Clyburn of South Carolina. He's being... Many people with Biden posters. This might be the Democratic candidate. And he says, I had to cover some elections in the United States, and it's really interesting. He says, it's not a small reason why I'm in this race. All people all around the country, the days of Donald Trump will
soon be over. So, folks, so here's the deal.
Así que, amigos, así que está el
So,
trato.
friends, this is the deal. Let's get back up. We're decent people. We can lead again. We're better than this president. So stand up. Take the lead. This is United States of America, and we can do everything if we do it together. God bless America. God bless our troops. Thank you very much. There he is hugging his wife and his daughter. This was, let's not forget, he's the former vice president of President Obama. He's a democratic socialist, and his campaign has shaken the democratic establishment. We hope that he's able to beat Trump.
Aquí las cosas
Here we
partidarias del
have
candidato
Bernie
presidencial
Sanders, on
demócrata,
the other
el señor
hand.
Bernie Sanders dio la bienvenida a las noticias del abandono de la carrera presidencial del precandidato
He's
presidencial de
speaking
Sanders,
about
Pete Buttigieg,
Pete
quien
Buttigieg
anunció,
that stepped
el
down from
rival,
the
¿no?, de
elections.
Sanders, quien anunció ayer, 1 de marzo
Yesterday, he
de 2020,
announced
su carrera
that
por el
he was
domingo en la Casa
withdrawing.
Blanca. Esa renuncia cambia todo el cuadro.
This changes everything.
Un asesor le dijo a Reuters que Buttigieg, que
An
estaba
advisor said that Joe
retirándose para
Buttigieg
evitar ayudar
was
a las
stepping down
probabilidades del
not
líder
to
Bernie
help
Sanders, un
Bernie
senador de
Sanders,
Vermont
the
y
Vermont,
autodenominado socialista democrático.
the Vermont
Sanders dijo a
Democrat.
Buttigieg que es un payaso corporativo y creo que solo era un candidato de cartón
And
artificial, apoyado
Buttigieg
no
says
solo
he was
por
just
el
an
establishment
artificial
corporativo neoliberal, dijo a
candidate.
Reuters Kevin Kochler, partidario de Sanders, después de asistir a un meeting de Sanders en San José, California.
Here is
En la concurrida concentración de la tarde,
This is
Sanders se posicionó como
Sanders
el
is
mejor
positioned
candidato
as the
para derrotar al
best
presidente Donald Trump,
candidate to
un día después de
defeat
perder las
Donald
primarias de
Trump
Carolina del Sur
and
ante
win
su rival
the
Joe
South
Biden.
Carolina primaries.
Bernie Sanders dirigiendo la campaña en San
Bernie
José,
Sanders
California,
directing
muy
the San
importante
Jose,
San José,
California campaign.
y representante democrático de California,
And the Democratic
Ro
representative,
Fahana,
Ralph Fahna.
presentado por Bernie Sanders.
He is
Seguidores
presenting
animando y
Donald
manteniendo a
Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, los que elogian y están en el escenario, los seguidores que sostienen un
These
signo
are the
declarado de
followers of Bernie
BERNIE,
who are
Bernie.
holding a poster with
Many
his
of
name.
the political and media pundits
Ahora muchos de los expertos políticos y
Many of the
mediáticos, en su nuevo
political
enfoque hacia nosotros,
experts
se están poniendo nerviosos. Y el
are
nuevo
getting
enfoque es
nervous.
bueno, ya saben. Bernie es un buen tipo.
Well, good for
pero
them.
no puede
Bernie is a
vencer
good guy,
Trump.
but
Él puede.
he cannot
En fin,
beat
bueno,
Trump.
para empezar, les sugiero que escuchen y
Well,
den
to
un
begin
vistazo a las
with,
últimas 75 encuestas nacionales.
You should watch. You should look
Trump se presenta 75 veces.
the last 75 polls,
in which we beat Trump 70 out of 75 times.
Bueno, en eso ganamos 70
and that
de
we
75
win
veces las
70 of
encuestas.
75 times.
Así que
Joe
Biden
is
es un
a
amigo
friend of
mío.
mine.
Joe Biden
La
is a
gente
friend
dice,
of mine.
no, pero aquí está el punto en que debemos ser honestos sobre todo.
But here is the point. that
Tenemos
we
que
But
ser
here's the
have
point.
to about this.
Y hay que decir que la
We gotta
campaña
be
puede
honest,
vencer a
and we
Trump.
have to
The
say
campaign-
which campaign can beat Trump.
La multitud canta el nombre de Bernie, Joe Biden, en un momento en que el pueblo estadounidense está cansado de guerras interminables, de la terrible tasa de mortalidad que hemos visto en estas
And we've
guerras,
seen a
los
terrible
billones
mortality
de
rate,
dólares que hemos
the
gastado
millions
en
of
esta
dollars that
guerra.
we spent.
No olviden que Biden
Let's
votó
not
a favor
forget
de
that
la
Joe
guerra
Biden
en
voted in
Irak.
favor of the war in Iraq.
Endless wars, of the terrible death rate that we have seen from these wars, the trillions of dollars we have spent on these wars. Please do not forget, Joe Biden voted for the war in Iraq.
Bernie termina su discurso.
Bernie ends his
James.
statement.
Bueno, Maya Yubi, Bernie, una voluntaria. de
Here
Bernie,
is a
dice,
volunteer,
respondiendo
Bernie.
las preguntas del
She's
reportero,
answering the
¿sabes? No voy a
sentences.
mentir, me
The
reí,
questions, she
quiero
says,
decir,
well,
ya sabes, al igual que otros candidatos,
just like
es hora de
other
que abandone,
candidates,
es lo más
it's
digno
time
de
that he
hacer.
steps down.
Animo a otros candidatos a hacerlo.
I
Hay que
push
seguir ese
other
ejemplo, es
candidates
positivo.
to do so.
Yeah.
And what was your reaction to learning
Y aquí,
that Mayor Buttigieg had
otro de los seguidores dice, estaba contento.
She says, I was happy.
Creo que fue solo un candidato de
I think
cartón
he was an
artificial
artificial
que fue
cardboard
apoyado
candidate.
solo por el establishment corporativo neoliberal.
That was just
y ahora
a
está tan
corporate
feliz que se
establishment.
retiró, merecía abandonar.
the Mayor Buttigieg dropping out of the
I'm
race?
so happy.
I'm so happy.
Estoy muy feliz. Acabamos de escuchar eso. Mi
We
hija,
just
que
heard
acaba de
about
cumplir
it. My
18
daughter,
años,
who's just
pensó
18,
que sería un gran candidato
thought
porque
he was
es
a great
joven.
candidate because
Es
he's
gay.
young, he's gay.
Está ahí afuera, ¿sabes? Estoy bien. Yo, no,
You,
cariño,
no,
necesitas
honey. You
mirar
have
un
to look
poco
back
más a
in
la
history.
historia, necesitas aprender un poco
You
más
have to
sobre
learn a little
política
bit more
antes de
politics
empezar a votar.
before you start voting.
Bueno, las cosas están un poco complicadas y
Well,
muy
things a bit
fluidas. Precandidata
complicated.
demócrata Elizabeth Warren
Elizabeth
se
Warren
compromete a luchar después de un débil
will
final en
fight
Carolina
after
del Sur. La senadora de
a
Massachusetts,
weak end
Elizabeth Warren, se
in
comprometió a avanzar en la
Massachusetts.
carrera por la
And
presidencia
she says
incluso
that she
después de
will
haber terminado la
continue.
carrera en las primarias de Carolina
She
del
will
Sur
continue
el sábado
working
29 de
after
febrero. Y dijo,
the South Carolina primaries.
soy la primera para decir
I'm
que
the
los
first to
primeros
say
4 concursos
that
que
the
habían
first
salido exactamente como esperaba,
contest
las
came out
encuestas
exactly
no
like we
habían
thought.
salido muy bien para nosotros, pero agregó que su campaña
But
fue
they had,
construida a largo plazo y que esperaba con ansia más
I
concursos
expected more
y
contests.
estableció con simpatizantes de Houston, Texas, las
And with
medidas
some
necesarias para
experts.
ganar en Carolina del Sur también, mientras felicitaba a el ganador Joe Biden.
Well, she congratulated Joe Biden.
Bueno, ahí están los partidarios de la senadora Elizabeth Warren.
Those
que
are
hablan del
the
discurso después de terminar la
Those are
recorrida
the
por Carolina del
supporters
Sur.
of
Y en
Elizabeth
Houston,
Warren.
Texas,
And in Houston, Texas,
está la senadora Elizabeth Warren
there we have
diciendo,
Elizabeth
entonces
Warren
los
saying,
resultados de
then
Carolina del Sur
the
están
results of
llegando y
South
quiero
Carolina are
felicitar al
coming in, and I want
vicepresidente
to
Biden.
congratulate
Seré la
Mr.
primera en
Biden. I
decir
will be
que
the
los
first to
primeros
say
4 concursos han
that the
salido
first
exactamente
contests
como
have come out
esperaban.
exactly like
No,
expected.
no han salido como esperaban. Si quieren
Go
cambiar el
to
resultado en el próximo concurso, visiten
elizabethwarren.com, chip in whatever you can.
elizabethwarren.com y participen en el Supermartes. Faltan 3 días. Queremos ganar
We
tantos
want to
delegados
gain
de la
as many
convención
as
como
delegates to the
podamos. Y
convention as
California
possible.
también
And there
está
are many
presente.
here in Texas.
Mi campaña está construida
My
para un largo
campaign is for the
plazo y
long
esperamos
haul.
con ansias estos grandes concursos,
And we
es
expect these
decir,
big
los que faltan como
elections.
el
It's
momento de
time
comenzar a prepararse para la crisis
to
de
prepare
salud
for the
hace daño
crisis
y el tiempo para
is
prepararse
now, and the
específicamente
time
para
to prepare
coronavirus
for
ya
this
se hizo.
coronavirus.
No podemos regresar, pero tampoco podemos permitirnos perder más tiempo. Este es un momento para
This is a
liderazgo
time
honesto,
for
que respete la
honest
ciencia,
leadership
que recurra a
that
expertos
respects
serios y que
science,
ofrezca resultados reales. Esto es tanto una crisis de salud pública como una posible
that
crisis
draws on
económica,
serious
no
experts,
solo aquí en Estados Unidos, sino en todo el mundo.
and
Aquí en
delivers
los
real
próximos días estaré
results.
lanzando un plan amplio para hacer frente a la salud pública y los efectos económicos del coronavirus.
Not just in the United States, but
in the
worldwide.
coming days, I will be releasing an expanded plan to deal with the public health and economic effects of the coronavirus.
La precandidata demócrata Elizabeth Warren
Here we
se
have Elizabeth
compromete a
Warren.
luchar después de un
She
débil
says that
final
she
en
will
Carolina del Sur.
continue
Pero
fighting
sigue los ánimos.
after the weak results in
Momento de
South
la verdad.
Carolina. This is the
Buttigieg
moment of truth.
abandona la
Pete
carrera
Buttigieg is
demócrata
stepping
a
down
2
for the
días antes del
Democratic race
Supermartes, es decir,
just some
mañana
days
martes 3 de
before
marzo, donde habrá
Super
primarias
Tuesday,
demócratas en 11 estados
when there
a
will
la vez.
11
Pete
states
Buttigieg
will hold their
retiró
election at the
la
same
carrera
time.
por la
Buttigieg
nominación
stepped down
presidencial demócrata el domingo 1 de
on
marzo, diciendo que ya no veía un
Sunday, the
cambio de
1st
ganar.
of
La
March. He
medida
said that there
sacudió
is a,
la contienda
he thought
demócrata
that
para elegir un
there was
candidato para enfrentarse
there
al
was no
presidente
possibility that
republicano
he
Donald
may
Trump
win.
en las elecciones de noviembre y se produjo 2 días
And
antes
this
del
was 2
14
days
concurso de nominación
before
al
the
Supermartes,
Super
14
Tuesday,
estados que
where
ofrecerán
14
el mayor
states
premio
will
electoral
hold
hasta ahora.
their elections.
Buttigieg es un alcalde
Buttigieg
de South Bend,
is the
Indiana,
South
de 38
Bend,
años,
Indiana
que ganó un
mayor,
impulso temprano
38
después
years
de ganar
old.
poco tiempo los comités de Iowa el mes pasado y terminó en segundo
And
lugar en New
he
Hampshire.
finished out
Había tratado de
second
unir
in
a
New
los
Hampshire.
demócratas independientes y votantes republicanos
And he was
moderados,
trying to
pero
reach
terminó
out to
en
the
distante
moderates,
tercero en Nevada
but he was
y
third
cuarto
in
en
Nevada
Carolina del
and
Sur.
fourth
Su
in South
partido deja
Carolina.
6
His
contendientes en la
party
carrera
is leaving
presidencial
6
demócrata,
contenders
que una vez no tuvo más de 20 candidatos.
that
Se
at
va
some
achicando
time had
la
almost
definición.
20 contenders.
Bueno, South Bend, Indiana, Estados
South Bend,
Unidos.
Indiana.
Buttigieg registrando a su esposo y candidato
Mr.
presidencial
Buttigieg
demócrata,
and his husband,
Buttigieg. Y Schutten se abraza con Buttigieg, los que
Chasten
apoyan,
and
escuchan
Buttigieg
al
are hugging each
candidato, y
other.
este dice, uno de los valores
And he
es la
says one of the
verdad.
values
Y
is
hoy es
truth.
un momento de la
And
verdad.
today is the
Después
moment
de
of
un año
truth.
de ir a todas partes, conocer a todos y desafiar a todos. Chasten Buttigieg
Chasten and Mr. Buttigieg. Why are these two men hugging? Because he's gay. And this is feasible in the United States. The Democratic candidate Buttigieg, one of the values is truth, and this is the moment of truth. After touring for a whole year, I think that the path has narrowed down, and not for our candidacy. And one of the values that I think we have is responsibility. Our objective is to unify Americans, defeat Donald Trump, and wear the area for our people.
To defeat Donald Trump and to win the era for our values.
This is he's with the supporters. Said so we must understand that at this point the best way to keep the faith is to step aside and help join our party and our country.
Difficult decision to suspend my campaign.
So tonight I have reached a hard decision. I will not seek to be the candidate of the Democratic Party, but I will do everything in my power that we have a new Democratic president.
That is the hope in our hearts.
Esa es la esperanza en nuestros corazones. Ese es el fuego en nuestros vientres. Ese es el
This is the fire in our hearts. This is the future we want in our country. This is empowers all of us. Thank you for sharing this mission. Thank you for helping us.
Muchas gracias. Sigamos juntos. Gracias.
Let's move on together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
La gente dice USA, USA.
And the people are chanting USA, USA.
Amy
Klobuchar has closed her candidacy too by withdrawing her candidacy. This is the moment of truth. Buttigieg is withdrawing from the candidate of race. This is Amy Klobuchar, has also concluded her race for the White House. Amy Klobuchar is from Minnesota, whose campaign was not able to become the center of the attention. She is now ending her bid. Some days before, what she did by withdrawing.
Was there ever a time when you drank so much that you couldn't remember what happened or part of what happened the night before?
I think now we're going to those decisions of our political party, and who do we want as a candidate who leads our political ballot? And I think we all need to know that we have to make a decision, and I will support Bernie Sanders
as the candidate that heads up our ticket. Okay, put that aside. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, but I think we know we have a choice to make as a party.
Pero creo que sabemos que tenemos que tomar una decisión como partido y diré que Bernie, candidato
and I think that Bernie Sanders, the senator for Vermont, and I went in together to the Senate, and we're friends. We have worked on these topics together, but when it came the time for the debate in New Hampshire, and the Democrats asked that we were on the opposite poles, and I was the only one who answered.
Pero quiero que alguien encabece
But I
este
want
boleto
somebody to
y
lead this
atraiga a la gente
ticket
con
that
ella. Quiero que alguien
attracts
encabece
this,
este
somebody
boleto, se
who
refiere a la lista electoral, que lidere nuestro partido
who
para
ticket who
que
leads our
ganemos no
party,
solo la
so we can win
presidencia,
the
sino la Cámara de
presidency
Representantes.
and the House of Representatives back.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hello, everyone.
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Also, I stand before you as the granddaughter of an
Así que
iron
me
ore
presento ante ti como la nieta de un
I am
minero
here as a
mineral de hierro, como la hija
daughter
de un
of a
maestro y
miner
un periodista,
and of a
como la primera
teacher,
mujer elegida para el
the
Senado de
first
Estados Unidos
woman
desde el estado de
elected
Minnesota,
for the
para
Senate
anunciar
on the
mi
state of
candidatura a
Minnesota
la
to
presidencia de
announce
Estados Unidos.
my candidacy for president.
Bueno, 27 de septiembre, sin
September
restricciones, acceso a
27.
todos. Y
This is
senadora Amy Klobuchar, demócrata por
Amy
Minnesota, en un
Klobuchar
intercambio con el Tribunal Supremo Brett Kavanaugh, diciendo, está bien, beber es una cosa, pero la preocupación es la diversidad y es un testamento escrito, un testimonio escrito. Dijiste que a veces tomabas
You
demasiadas
said that
bebidas.
sometimes you
¿Hubo
drank too
alguna
much.
vez que
Was there
bebiste tanto
any
que no
time
pudiste
where
recordar
you
lo que
were not
sucedió,
able
o
to
parte de lo que
remember
pasó la noche
what you
anterior?
drank and what happened?
Remember what happened or part of what happened the night before?
No,
Kavanaugh
I
dice,
remember what
no.
happened.
No, I
Recuerdo lo
would
que
remember
pasó
what
y creo que
happened.
probablemente haya tomado cerveza, senador.
And I probably did take some beers.
So you're saying there's never been a
Entonces está
case.
So
diciendo
you're
que
saying
nunca
there's
ha habido
never
un
been a
caso en
case
el
where
que
you
bebiste
drank so
tanto que no
much
recuerdas
that
qué
you
pasó la
can't
noche
remember what
anterior,
happened the night
aparte de
before.
lo que pasó. Y se está preguntando sobre el apagón, no sé,
Well, if you're
¿verdad?
speaking about the blackout, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not happened. Is that your
That's
answer?
not happened.
Yeah, and I'm curious if
Lo
you
están interpelando a fondo, ¿no?
I have no drinking problem.
Well, this was
nor do
the
I.
this
Thank
was the hearings to appoint Greg Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court.
I started my last colloquy by saying to Senator Klobuchar how much I respect her and
A él
respect
se le
what she did
acusa de
the last
abusador
year.
sexual.
He was
Y
accused of being a
entonces,
sexual
el tema,
offender,
además del
and
trago,
she was questioning
está-
him.
vean cómo se ventila.
And he was very rude by asking her if she had sometime drunk too
La
much.
realidad es que está muy
Okay, the
fluida la
reality
campaña.
is that
Y
the
ahora
campaign
hablamos de un
is
convoy
moving very
militar
fast.
turco que
Now we're
entra en
speaking of a
Idlib,
Turkish
de Siria.
convoy that
El
is going
ejército
into
turco
Syria.
reforzó su presencia en Idlib, Siria, el lunes 2 de marzo.
This is March
Después que el
2nd.
ministro de
These
Defensa
troops are
calificó la
going into
operación
Idlib.
la cuarta incursión de
This is
Turquía
the
en Siria
fourth
en 4
incursion
años.
of Turkey
Operación
in
Spring Shield.
Syria.
Domingo 1 de marzo, Turquía derribó el domingo 2 aviones de guerra sirios sobre Idlib y golpeó a un aeropuerto militar más
There
allá
has been
de sus
attacks
frontes,
back
en
and
una fuerte
forth
escalada de
between
operaciones
Syria and
militares tras
Turkey
la muerte de docenas de
after
soldados
the
turcos la
death
semana pasada.
of dozens
Hay que
of
recordar que Turquía
Turkish
no proporcionó
soldiers.
a Rusia
Let's not forget
las coordenadas necesarias
that
para
Turkey
hacer
does
cualquier
not give
movimiento.
Russia
Igualmente
the
mezcló
coordinates that they
terroristas
needed,
con sus propios
and
soldados
they
turcos.
missed terrorists
Y un
with
tercer
their
lugar,
own troops, and
vistió a terroristas con uniformes de la
they
Fuerza
gave
Armada
terrorists the
turca para
uniform of
confundir al
Turkish
ejército de
army
Siria al apoyo militar de
to
Rusia
confuse
también.
the Syrian
Esto fue muy
army.
mal recibido.
This
Convoy
was
de
not
vehículos
well
militares
received.
turcos estacionados en la autopista, tropas turcas dentro
Here
del
we have
vehículo
troops
blindado
within
y
the
revoluciones de
shielded
la
car.
fuerza de Turquía desplazándose dentro de sus patrones de la cadena de mando. Y estamos en Idlib,
Here we're in Idlib.
2 de marzo de 2020. Varios convoyes de vehículos militares turcos estacionados en la autopista, tanques y blindados estacionados también,
These
blindados
are
ligeros y
tanks
algunos
and
no tan ligeros,
shielded
tropas
cars,
turcas dentro de su vehículo armado, esperando por lo menos a cubierto, y vehículos armados
and many
estacionados a lo largo
armed
de la
cars
autopista, lo que ha
on the
generado
side
un
of the
clima de
road
tensión.
that has caused a
Se armó en
climate of
Siria,
tension.
2 de marzo de 2020, Reuters informa
Reuters
que
is informing
caminata de rebeldes con
that
respaldo de
there's a
Turquía,
walk of the rebels with the
varios de la reunión
support
de
of Turkey.
rebeldes, varias tomas y los recorridos caminando. Esto genera un clima de tensión
This creates
que va más allá de las simples
an
imágenes.
environment of tension that goes beyond just mere images.
What? Moving, reportage, tamam. Okay.
Relativa calma aparente, pero mucha
There is
tensión.
some calm,
en el
but the truth is that there's a lot of tension.
Abi buradayım.
Angela Merkel, la canciller alemana,
Angela
cargo que
Merkel,
equivale en ese país a la jefa de gobierno,
the chief
dijo
of the
el lunes 2 de
government of
marzo que
Germany,
es
said
inaceptable hacer
on
política a
Monday, March
expensas
2nd, she says that
de
it's
los
awful to
migrantes. Angela Merkel dijo que entendía que el presidente turco Tayyip Erdogan esperaba más ayuda de Europa para
use
lidiar con la
people,
crisis de
and she
refugiados,
said
pero
that
agregó
she
que
knew
no
that
debería usar
Erdogan
refugiados
should
para
not use
expresar su
refugees
descontento.
to
Más de
express his
10.000
discontent.
inmigrantes, en su mayoría de Siria, otros
Most
estados
of the
del Medio
immigrants,
Oriente y
some
Afganistán,
of
han llegado a
Afghanistan,
las
the Middle
fronteras
East,
terrestres de
have
Turquía
reached
con
the
los
border
ataques de la
of
Unión
Turkey
Europea, Grecia y Bulgaria, después que Ankara
after
dijo el jueves
Ankara had
pasado
said on
que
last
dejaría de
Thursday
mantenerlos en
that
su
they would
territorio.
stop keeping them
La
in their
funcionaria
territory.
europea principal a cargo de la cuestión migratoria, la vicepresidenta de la Comisión Europea, Margarita Schinas,
Margarita
dijo que
Schinas, the
nadie
president of,
puede chantajear
said
e
nobody
intimidar
can
a la Unión
blackmail
Europea.
the European Union.
That would allow us to defend.
Bueno, estamos en Berlín, Alemania.
Here we're in Berlin,
Canciller alemana
Germany.
Angela Merkel entrando a la sesión y para presionar
Angela
también,
Merkel
¿no?
is going into the
Canciller
meeting.
Angela Merkel dice, cuando habla y quiere ser contundente, lo es, con elegancia.
Und ich finde es allerdings bei allem Verständnis und bei
Con
aller
todo el
Gesprächsbereitschaft,
entendimiento y la disposición
With
para
all of the
hablar con el fin de
disposition
brindar más apoyo,
that we
creo
have
que
to
es
give all of the
inaceptable
support,
tratar o
I think
expensas
it's
de los migrantes
unacceptable
porque se han
to
sentido
use the
motivados para
migrants,
ir a la frontera y terminar
to
en una
take them
callejón sin salida.
to the border and leave them
No
to
es
a
política y
a
la política de
cul-de-sac.
acuerdo
This
con la
is
Unión
not our
Europea y Turquía
policy.
es no hacer política
And our
a
policy
expensas
is
de los
not to make
inmigrantes.
politics
Más bien
on the
encontrar
migrants'
acuerdos
backs,
entre
but
los
on the
estados
contrary, to
para ayudar a
find
los inmigrantes a una
agreements.
situación más difícil o facilitar la vida de los traficantes. ¿Cómo vamos a hacer?
How are we going to do
Los que
this?
lo llevan ilegalmente. Medios venían con Merkel en la
News,
conferencia de
news
anoche.
media.
sozusagen zu erleichtern oder zu ermöglichen.
Rassismus beschäftigen wird in Deutschland. Auch im Beginn des Integrationsgipfels getan.
Margarita Schinas, she's the vice president of the European vice president.
También declara. Y Margaritis tiene también una papa caliente.
Margarita, she also has a hot potato in her hand.
El hombre toma su posición y dice,
This man takes the microphone in his hand
es hora de que la
and
Unión
says,
Europea
it's time that the
se
European
ponga a
Union
preguntar cómo es el caso
asks,
ahora. La unidad
what is the
debe
case now?
prevalecer.
Unity must overcome,
Y ponga a prueba cómo es el caso ahora. La unidad debe prevalecer.
and the
Esta es una
unity
crisis,
must
pero también
overcome.
puede convertirse en una oportunidad para Europa.
This can also
Una
become an
oportunidad que nos
opportunity
permitiría defender
for Europe.
colectivamente nuestra frontera exterior y mostrar solidaridad
And
a
we need
Grecia y
to
a Bulgaria,
we need to
y al
show
mismo tiempo proceder con
solidarity
una reforma más
and
amplia de
have a
nuestra
wider
política y de la manera
have a
en que
wider
asumimos esta agenda
action
complicada.
and how we
En ese sentido,
overtake this complicated agenda. This is one of the most emblematic agenda of the Commission.
Margarita Schinas diciendo, ya solicité una
I have
reunión
already
extraordinaria con
asked
los
for a
ministros de
meeting
Justicia y Asuntos de Interior para
to
discutir
coordinate our
esta situación,
efforts
coordinar nuestros esfuerzos para apoyar a Grecia
to support Greece and at the same time
considerable a través de nuestras agencias Frontex.
members of the three institutions
Charles Michel and David Sassoli will be in the border and the Greek-Turkish border.
Mañana los presidentes de las tres instituciones, Ursula von der Leyen, Charles Michel y David Sassoli, estarán en la frontera.
Now there will be delegates on the border to show solidarity at this moment where there is a demand. Nobody can blackmail the European Union. Well, this is from Hispan TV. Syria takes back the control of a strategic military point in Idlib.
El ejército sirio recupera el control de la ciudad estratégica de Zarakib en la provincia de Idlib, que invadieron
This
los
is
terroristas
Idlib,
patrocinados
where
por
that have been
Ankara.
that have been taken over by Turkey. Just the Turkish military have been able to take back Idlib, that was taken over originally by Turkey. This has been a hard blow for the extremists, and there has been there was a huge force that was called Shield of Spring. Of course, this goes against every law, and in the midst of this tension, the Syrian troops are still going ahead. In the north of Idlib, this is Monday, has also created news. This has been the best answer. The Syrian government has been able to have great advance to free this land. Erdogan decided to start in this area because the road is near Turkey. Analysts consider that the aggression against Syria puts at the risk of
La agresión actual turca en el noroeste de Siria se suma a la serie de las violaciones de Erdogan a la
many violations against the sovereignty of the integrity of Syria, and it's condemned to fail. United States rejects the petition of Turkey on the anti-air system on Turkey in the midst of tension of the area of Idlib. In Qatar, there was a meeting between Mike Pompeo and the foreign minister of Turkey, and they have asked to install anti-missile systems in the midst of escalate of the Idlib situation. In declarations with Michael Spur, he has said this Monday that Washington has rejected this petition. They will not install, not even temporarily, their Patriot anti-missile request. Turkey has installed some Russian systems, but they are not fully installed, and they expect to have them fully installed in April. Ankara wants to reinforce their Turkey that supports terrorist movements have announced today that there will be a new military offensive. And this has the support of Russia. Damascus accuses that Turkey has interfered in their sovereignty and say that they will continue. Syrian airstrikes have caused at least 33 Turkish army members, along with bringing back a drone on Sunday. Syria says that they will go forth with to confront the aggression of Turkey. Syria once again rejects the offensive of Turkey in their country and ensures that they are willing to confront the aggressions. The Turkish aggression shows the minimum of reliability, because Mr. Erdogan does not fulfill his word and insists of staying in his position. According to Sana, there is a support from Ankara to terrorist groups that is on the border with Turkey. In this sense, the Turkish government has been fostering the destruction and provoking ruin, and as well as they provoke, they want to have expansion, and this is irreal illusions. Confronted with this, the Syrian diplomat has ensured that the Damascus military has decided to confront the Turkish inquiries on their country. They have also asked the international community to condemn the actions of Turkey. That is a flagrant condemn of international law, and to press Turkey not to continue with their terrorist actions. On Saturday, the Minister of Defense has announced that there is a new Turkish incursion. The government of Damascus accuses Turkey to systematically violate their sovereignty and assures that they will defend the integrity of their land, their integrity. And there are airstrikes of the Syrian government have caused at least 33 deaths of soldiers from Turkey. Damascus has said that they will bring down any aircraft that goes over their In Good Vibes of Monday, that is shown in Venezuela Televisión, there is a reference to a deadly game that is called Breaking Skulls. This post test there are some challenges that are fun, but some go beyond, and they even put at risk the life of somebody. Today I want to talk about one that is particularly dangerous, that's been circulating through the phones of our children. This is the so-called skull breaker. To do it, 3 young people count to 3 and they jump. The objective is to everybody to wait the minute to put the feet under, to put their foot under to the one in the middle. So this will fall head down. According to experts, even if the person survives, the impact in their head may damage their body. This could have awful consequences on their spinal cord. Unfortunately, there are mortal victims of this game inside and outside of Venezuela. So now the call is to maintain alert and to teach the youngest one that these actions are not courageous. On the contrary, they're just irresponsible, that goes against the life of the people. Friends, you saw the work of our production team. As you've seen, the internet has spread this game. Other countries have seen it more widely spread, but we have it here in Venezuela too. Just recently, they said that they were able to see that in this high school, and of course the school was able to put a stop to it. And what we're trying to do And of course, it's interesting how the social websites is a way to share, but they also generate these games, these viral games, because they have a widespread, and sometimes we're not even aware how far they can go. It's not just something that goes on in Venezuela, it goes on in Colombia and in Mexico, and it's important to check. This is not that it's not the only challenge. It's not the only challenge that is popular now. This is just the one that we know about now. That is why we opened this space, so we can find what tools we can use to prevent and not allow our children to be in the middle of these activities, and to have the tools to say, hey, I don't want to do it. Well, we must be very much aware of this. This is no game, and according to what I've read, especially young people, pay attention. This is a hit of capoeira. That is a particular way of fighting of Brazil. Believe me, falling head down to the ground. But here they are falling to cement, and this breaks your skull. This causes irreversible consequences to your spinal cord as well as to your skull. But look how people fall. None of this has the possibility to come out without any consequences. So let's be careful that this stupid game does not become popular. This is a blow that if you hit your head, it has terrible consequences. When I lose you, you and I have lost. Because you were the thing that I loved the most, and you, because I was the one that loved you the most. But of both of us, you lose more than I, because I will be able to love another just like I loved you. But nobody will love you how I loved you. At Florencanto says urgent. President of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega, when he knew about the passing of the poet Ernesto Cardenal, declares 3 days of national dwelling. The government of national reconciliation on behalf of the people of Nicaragua, with all respect and consideration, when they knew about the passing of the poet Ernesto Cardenal of 95 years, they want to express their condolence. We recognize his contributions, both to the revolution as well as to the culture and poetry of our country. He was always able to to honor God. He was the winner of the Cervantes Award and many other awards by many international organisms and countries. He is an honor for our country. We want to celebrate his life and his love for our country. The government of Nicaragua is hereby asking 3 days of national dwelling and also will be in the ceremony of goodbye and farewell and thanking this man. This was issued on Saturday the 1st, and it's signed by the President and the First Lady.
Enrique Guzmán B, @Guzmán Balbas, 1 de marzo 2020. Desde la Venezuela bolivariana y
From the Bolivarian Venezuela and Chavista, we are with the government of Nicaragua for the loss of this brother. Jorge Arreaza says, the President Nicolás Maduro, on behalf of the people and government of Venezuela, express their condolence to the people and the government of Nicaragua for the passing of Ernesto Cardenal Martínez, poet, fighter, and well known all around the world for his talent and his literature. I share with you this writing, and it was dedicated to the Bolivarian Revolution and Mr. Chavez. Ernesto Cardenal, Venezuela. Yahir Artigas at Charichicardo says, here are Ernesto Cardenal with Ali. Horacio Bon says, Ernesto Cardenal died, the great poet of the revolution, of the Nicaraguan Revolution, 1984. This is a picture of 1984. Alejandro Fausto says, Ale Fausto, says, dead, the great poet Ernesto Cardenal. His work will be a referent for compromise and humility. During his visit to Mexico on December past, he asked for the extreme, and he says, I hate hate, and I love love. Katia Cardenal, Música says, dear Ernesto, I hope that you find what you cannot find here. You are once again dust of stars. Intilimani says, because you showed us that spirituality, poetry, and revolution can walk together to leave this world better as they found it. Today we say goodbye. Goodbye, Ernesto Cardenal, impressionable man. This is another person, Camus at Beto. President Dr. Salvador Allende and Ernesto Cardenal. Hispanic poet says, time, I hate you, and although without you I would not exist, and for you I would die, and because of you I was born. Ernesto Cardenal dies. Ernesto Cardenal was 95 years old, author of epigrams and Cántico Cósmico. Among his vast poetic, in January announced that he was preparing his new book. 2 days after, he was rushed to a hospital.
Rosa Roja, @Roja Polaca, acaba de morir en Managua Ernesto Cardenal a los 95 años. Poeta, sacerdote y revolucionario, símbolo de fraternidad, de arte.
This man was a symbol of poetry and the love of God.
Evo Adrián Bejerano,
Adrián, rest in peace, theologist and author of the revolution. Daniel Filmus says, huge grief. Ernesto Cardenal has died, great poet, humanist, and revolutionary. He was punished by the church in the 80s, and then he was revindicated by Pope Francis. What to read? At what read? The love is that one is not one, but it's two, and that is one incomplete without the loved one. And it's not only thinking of the loved one, but it's also feeling that you cannot be separated. He was a revolutionary man, Nicolás Maduro. On behalf of the people of Venezuela, I send my profound condolences to Commander Daniel, a Rosario, and all of the Nicaraguans for the leaving of this great poet Ernesto Cardenal. His invaluable legacy makes us proud as Latin American. Fly high. And it's with this silence that we want to leave this man. I was able to know him personally when I covered very difficult situations in Nicaragua. And what can one perceive is what he's shown as a light. He is probably right next to God because his work speaks for himself. And our contaminated and beloved shuffle has rotated once again. And tomorrow we will be here to tell you the small, big story of the next 24 hours. I want to thank you all. I want to thank all of my team. And as always, we are ready to adapt ourselves to reality. Wherever you may be, from Studio 3 of Venezuela Televisión, Victor Tango Victor, we have come to an end of Dossier, the leading program of the Western Hemisphere of international news via satellite. This was Walter Martinez for you. It's up to you, Mr. Director.